Okay, so here we are live once again with another DC Multiverse unboxing, and this is a Mcfarlane Toys Digital Superman DC The Silver Age. Only it's not really a Silver Age Superman figure. I'm gonna get into that as we talk about it and talk about what era this figure really belongs to. But it does reuse my favorite Superman body that McFarlane has, which is the one that we first saw in this Earth 2 Superman figure that I put Christopher Reeve head onto. Uh, now, when I first saw this figure, I was talking about how like it reminded me a lot of Alex Ross's version of Superman, and that I hoped that they would use it to make it Alex Ross Superman, and then eventually they did. We had this really nice Kingdom Come Superman. They used this body for the Justice League Task Force Superman figure. They used this body for I believe Icon, which I was never able to get, unfortunately. They used this figure for Shazam, Captain Marvel, Shazam, whatever you want to call him, and Captain Thunder, the Platinum Edition. So, so yeah, they've gotten a good amount of use out of this mold. But now we have it on what is one of the more definitive Superman figures that I've seen. But I've got some nits that I'm going to pick with it. So let's go ahead and open them up. First, artwork on the back, and it's pretty similar to what we've seen from other Silver Age figures in this lineup before, with the kind of comic book cover background, and it's a piece of art from the style guide by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, an artist who I admire very much, who was not a Silver Age Superman artist. He's a Bronze Age Superman artist, but McFarlane seems to be using Silver Age and Bronze Age kind of interchangeably in this line. So a lot of the times, a lot of these figures they have labeled as Silver Age, I feel like are more Bronze Age. That tends to happen. But it just is what it is. And there's Captain Have Fun. He says, "I don't know why they put black around the S." Oh, trust me, I'm going to talk about that. All right, so let's go ahead and open them up. I do really like the artwork. Like I said, big fan of Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. By the way, for those of you watching, me and Captain Have Fun have been trying to get together to do a live stream at some point, and I'm off tomorrow. Throwing it out there. But whenever we do get around to that, I've been holding on to this. So I've got at least one more figure of the Man of Steel ready to go. So we'll have another Superman figure once that happens. But I'm not done with Superman characters yet. This is not the last of my Superman characters because I still have Cyborg Superman to open up. So and then I think we'll move on to some of these Batman figures I got to open up. I don't know though, because I do have some other things. I know I've got Jade still left and a few other characters. Animal Man. I still haven't opened up that Animal Man figure that I got a while back. Uh, Trying to think of what all else I have. Anyway, there's the trading card, same piece of artwork we've seen on the back of the package, and that looks like a dense bio on the back. I'll read that in a minute. Captain Have Fun says, I made a Silver Age Superman using the Action Comics #1 head sculpt. I will try to have everything ready tomorrow. Okay, cool. So there we go. All right, so yeah, we'll try to do that tomorrow, and then I'll have that Fleischer Superman to open up for you guys. So yeah, there's what the back looks like, and it reads: McFarlane Toys Digital Superman Debut Action Comics Volume 1. Since we got to specify that now, number 1, 1938. Superman is the world's greatest superhero. He is a tireless champion dedicated to protecting life and battling injustice, not only in the city of Metropolis, but also all over his adoptive world and across the universe. Across the multiverse, more like. Yeah, Superman's even gone to other universes, not just the one he lives in. Uh, with his fantastic powers and abilities fueled by his alien cells, which hyper efficiently process the solar energy of Earth's Yellow Sun. Superman is an unstoppable force for good and a steadfast punisher of evil. Superman is able to. Superman is a founding member of the Justice League and an inspiration to countless other heroes. Continuing beyond into the 31st century. Or I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Continuing into the 31st century and beyond. So I am a little irritated they didn't mention that he's also a reporter named Clark Kent. But other than that, it's a pretty good bio. I kind of feel like some superheroes you could kind of be forgiven for skipping over that whole civilian identity thing, but I kind of feel like the Clark Kent identity is a little more important for Superman than it is for others. Like if you think about the Kill Bill speech, and I know everybody thinks about the Kill Bill speech a lot. Oh, by the way, it also had this voucher for an NFT or something. Um, and I don't agree with Bill's speech, and I don't think you're supposed to agree with Bill's speech. I think you're supposed to realize that Bill is a villain, and his concept of what Superman / Clark Kent is somewhat skewed. But I do believe that he's correct in that that unlike Peter Parker or Bruce Wayne, when Superman wakes up in the morning, he's Superman. He has to put on an outfit to become Clark Kent. And yeah, I know these days people say that Superman is the fake identity and Clark Kent is the real guy. And I think that's what Superman himself likes to think. But in the end of the day, he doesn't need to wear glasses. You know what I mean? Those are an affectation. He wears glasses so he feels more human. Superman thinks of himself as a human, but he's not really a human. He wants to be a human, but he's not really a human. He's always going to be Superman. And at the end of the day, if he gets hit by a taxi cab, he's going to put a big old dent in the front of that taxi cab, leaving the taxi driver perplexed. And if I get hit by a taxi cab, I'm going to the hospital. That's just how it is. So the thing that Bill was wrong about in that Kill Bill speech, the thing that he was absolutely wrong about is when he says, what are the characteristics of Clark Kent? He is weak. He is a coward. He is unsure of himself. Well, no. People perceive Clark Kent as weak. Clark Kent doesn't really act as weak. But Clark Kent, might, rush into a utility closet to change into Superman. And people might see Clark Kent disappear off the scene of the crime and assume he's a coward. That's the thing. Clark Kent has a lot of positive qualities. Despite what Bill says, Clark Kent actually is quite courageous, is quite brave. He does stand up for his friends and, innocent people. And, he is a heroic character in his own way. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch the George Reeves television series from the 1950s. Clark Kent is a good dude. So when Bill says that Clark Kent is Superman's critique on the whole human race, I say no. Clark Kent is Superman's love letter to the human race. So, I feel like that's an important aspect of the character and should not be glossed over. For people who say I talk too much and don't show the action figures on this channel enough, there's your ammunition. That's not what this show's really about. You're sitting on my couch with me and you're talking about action figures. That's what the point of this is. And we're having a conversation. My Uncle Ken used to say I didn't have conversations. I hold court. Well, he wasn't wrong. But don't worry, we're getting to that action figure. So I got all the rubber tabs and everything cut, and here we got Superman out of the out of the package. So let's have a look at our Superman action figure, and I'll pick some nits. All right, so as I mentioned before, uh, this head sculpt is based on artwork by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and they nailed the look. He looks just like how uh, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez would draw Superman back in the 70s and the 80s. And he still draws Superman today. But specifically, this is that Bronze Age Superman I was talking about. He looks really cool. I'm really happy with how his head sculpt turned out. The comic book colors are very well represented here. This is very close to how Superman was colored in a Bronze Age comic. We can look at the artwork on the package and we can see that like those colors match up pretty much exactly, about as exactly as they could match up. He's got the S on the back of the cape, and it's very well proportioned. It's not overly huge like some versions of the S are, like that Earth 2S, just like it practically takes up like the whole cape. It's gigantic. But here, and it's that logo perfect Superman emblem, which I always like to see on any Superman merchandise, because that's the point of having the logo perfect version, so we can have it be consistent across all the merchandise. So that's good. Now, what irritates me about this figure is again, this is a Bronze Age Superman figure. It's not a Silver Age Superman. This isn't a Silver Age Superman at all. This is a Superman from like the late 70s to the early 80s. Specifically, I'd more like late 80s. I would say that this is a Superman. This is a superpowers Superman. So that's what this is. It's they took the old superpowers figure and made a modern version of it. Not like how they make modern superpowers figures. You understand? I'm talking now. They took that aesthetic and transferred it onto a modern style action figure, and that's why the black outline around this S bugs me, because they never did that on superpowers. Uh, and in fact, the black outline on the S is highly unusual to see on Superman figures. They hardly ever bother to put that on action figures because that's just an extra tampograph they got to do, isn't it? You know, at least in the 80s it was. I think they can do them all at once now. You know, just like almost like it's a decal, just stamp the whole thing on there. But that's not how they did it back in the 80s. And most of your Superman action figures that you see are, it's just going to be red and yellow without the black outline. And I don't know why they picked this figure of all figures to be the one to put a black outline onto. Really, this one should have had a black outline, the Earth 2 version, because that's the one that they actually bothered to draw the S as being separate from the border. This should have had a black outline. This one shouldn't. I don't know why or how they make these decisions, but these are the decisions they make sometimes, and it drives me a little nuts. So yeah, that is something that just kind of sticks in my craw as like like an undiagnosed OCD kind of thing. It really bothers me. Head over Diecast is here and he says hello everyone. So everyone say hello back. So so yeah, this is close, very close, agonizingly close, irritatingly close to being a perfect Superman action figure. And if it didn't have this black outline around it, I'd be saying, this is it, guys. This is Mcfarlane's perfect Superman action figure. But it's got that one little thing that's holding it back for me. Ah, that's unfortunate. But since I've already got him over here, let's go ahead and have side by side the Earth 1 Superman and the Earth 2 Superman, even though, like I said, he's got a Christopher Reeve head on there, but just go with it for now. So we can see them next to each other. And you can see that like the Earth 2 Superman has a lighter blue on his outfit. And I kind of like that because for me it feels kind of George Reeves-ish. And I like George Reeves. Uh Head over Diecast says, I'm late. I just got off work. Well, that's fine. You know, everybody works at different times, I think. So, But also, like, if you imagine, like, if this is like a Superman that's been operating for, since the 1940s, and at least 20 years longer than the Earth 2 Superman would have been operating. And hey, Max Games and Toys is here too, so hello to you. Awesome. So we got a bunch of people stopping by, so that's nice. But you can imagine maybe the uniform might have faded somewhat over the years, so he'd have a lighter blue suit, or maybe he just has a lighter blue suit. Who knows? Speaking of other versions of Superman, we can see him next to the Alex Ross Kingdom Come Superman, which, like I said, I believe that this was the body that this is what this body was designed for in the first place. And it looks to me like their flesh colors match up kind of fairly well, so we can do some head swaps with these figures. And I figure, even though, like, the flesh color is slightly lighter and more pink on the Earth 2 figure, it should match up well enough with the Christopher Reeve head, so we can swap these heads around and have some fun real quick. What do you think about the new Superman movie? Have not seen it yet, so I work all weekend, for one thing, and for another thing, it's just like, I think it might be better if I just wait on that for a minute. I'm not gonna get into all that now, but there's certain aspects of that movie where I'm just kind of like, yeah, think I'll wait. Think I'll wait. Like, so anyway, let's talk about the articulation. So Superman can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around the shoulders, and they're on that cool Mcfarlane butterfly joints. They move. They you got a little wiggle room here, and like I said, on this body, it seems to be a little. It's fairly snug on this one, but it's a little more loose than these joints often are. He's got a bicep, so also the bicep rotates all the way around. He's got double jointed elbows, so the elbows bend in about that far. Excellent range of motion on the elbows. I will point out that these are new, since this is one of the newer Mcfarlane figures. They did a much better job at making the elbow joint flow a little more smoothly on this one. I don't remember if I mentioned that during the Earth 2 Superman review or not, but I'm mentioning it now. He's got the cool Mcfarlane torso articulation, so that can wobble around any which way you want to. Of course, rotates all the way around where the rib cage meets the abs, and rotates all the way around where the abs meet the belt, the trunks, the waist, the hips, whatever you want to call that. Superman can kick up about that far, which is pretty good range of motion. He can do the splits no problem. He's got a little bit of wobble here, a little bit of slight articulation. Doesn't go all the way around, but it goes around enough to give you some good posing. He's got double jointed knees. That's about the range of motion you get at the knees. He does not have a boot cut, even though this is a separate piece of plastic. They could have put a boot cut in here if they wanted to, but that's okay because he's got that great Mcfarlane ankle articulation. So the ankle rotates all the way around where the ankle meets the shin, and rotates all the way around where the ankle meets the foot. And the foot can point down about that far, point up about that far, and then he's got toe articulation just to show off. I basically opened up the same figure last episode when I opened up this figure. So I basically just did the same articulation scheme all over again. But you never know. This might be somebody's first time watching one of my videos. That might have been the first time they've seen me do that. And I kind of feel like at this point, if I don't do the articulation, that I'm missing something. So this is a great figure, and you should definitely pick him up if you get the chance. Like I said, the only thing that holds this back from being the perfect Superman figure that it should have been is they should have left out that black outline. I don't know why they put the black outline on there. I don't think that it really added to the figure, and I think they should have left it out. Oh yeah, here's the figure stand. Mcfarlane Toys Digital figure stand, which, I don't like these because I'd rather have the DC logo on there than the Spawn logo. I know that's your character, Todd, but he's not a DC character. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It'd be like if I bought a Bugs Bunny action figure and I don't know, one of the Seven Dwarves was on the figure stand, some Disney character. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it for this figure, except for one thing. Oh, I didn't talk about the hands. It's the same alternate hands that we usually get with this body, the kind of splayed open flying hands. So that's those. got that knocked out of the way. And last but not least, let's go ahead and get him into. You've already seen him with the arms akimbo, so that's one of those classic Superman poses. So let's go ahead and see how well I can get him into the classic Kurt Swan Superman flying pose. And spoiler warning, it's going to look awesome because, of course, I've already done this figure several times. But you know me, I just like to do that pose. And there he is. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So anybody who grew up reading comics from the 1950s on through the late 1980s, we're familiar with that pose. That's the classic Superman flying pose. So anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this figure. YouTube likes it when I say like and subscribe, so I've been trying to say like and subscribe a little bit more to placate the algorithm. So if you want to make sure you support my channel, make sure you like and subscribe and leave a comment. I like it when you leave comments. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about Superman. Let me know what you think about the character in general. Let me know what you think about this figure specifically. Let me know what you think about other Superman figures. Just whatever you want to talk about Superman in the comics. If you want to talk to me about the new movie, even though I haven't seen it yet, go ahead and tell me what you think about the new movie. Did you think it was great? Did you think it sucked? Do you think they probably should have kept Henry Cavill around? I think they probably should have kept Henry Cavill. Well, not only get into that right now. But yeah, I've had most of the movie spoiled for me by this point, so don't worry about spoiling it if you want to spoil something. But yeah, like I think I'm gonna be better off waiting to see that one when it hits streaming. Like I know that there's you know, a lot of people told me the Batman was like some kind of great movie, and I went to see the Batman, and I was very disappointed in it. I don't think I've ever regretted watching a movie in a theater more in my life than I regretted that 3 hours that I spent watching the Batman. And I'm just like, I think I've kind of lost that part of myself that wants to watch a movie, yeah, that wants to give a movie a chance despite my better judgment. So if I saw the trailers and clips for the new Superman movie and I wasn't too impressed and I didn't go to the theater, that's why. And if it hits streaming and I watch it and I wind up thinking it's awesome, then the Batman, the Robert Pattinson one. The Batman, where they had the arrogance to put the definite article on there. Oh, this is the Batman. Oh, sure it is. Sure it is. There, Slugger. Like the Flash wasn't a great movie, but I really liked Michael Keaton. I liked seeing Michael Keaton again. And Michael Keaton's like, God, what if he's got to be like at least 70 by now, and he's still a better Batman than Robert Pattinson. Like it's like not even close. So yeah, if you're out there wondering if he's such a big Superman fan, why doesn't he go see the Superman movie? Well, I had pause, and it was more because of the I think the Batman just ruined that for me. Like it's like so I'm not it's a lot for me to go to the movie theater nowadays. I mean, like it's expensive to go to the movies, and I don't have a whole lot of free time anyway, and most of my free time that I spend here with you guys talking about action figures on the internet. And when I watch something at home, a lot of the times I wind up watching something that I've already watched, so I can do other things and don't have to pay too much attention to it, which is why I keep watching like Cobra Kai and How I Met Your Mother and the 1989 Batman movie, and the Christopher Reeve movies and the Zack Snyder movies and the Nolan Batman movies, like the Batman the Animated Series, the 60s Batman show, Star Trek. I'll watch stuff that I've already watched over and over and over again. And people will be like, "Hey, have you seen this new thing?" And I'm like, "No, I'm in the middle of Cobra Kai again." I say that because I'm literally in the middle of Cobra Kai again. I just watched the end of Was it the third season? Or I think I watched the beginning of the fourth, fifth season. I watched the episode where Miguel is with his biological father at the ultimate fighting place, and Robbie and Johnny show up to bring him back, and they're wearing the shirts that Johnny got him that say FBI on them, so everybody thinks that Johnny and Robbie are feds when it really just means like female body inspector. It's some cheesy tourist shirt that that Johnny bought for him because, of course, Johnny Lawrence would think that's hilarious. Yeah, that's the episode of Cobra Kai that I just watched while I was trying to wind down from work last night and going to sleep. But that's why I wind up doing that. Head over Diecast says I asked if you're more a DC collector than Marvel. Just wondering. Like I like Marvel an awful lot. I usually kind of joke that like I like them both about equally, but DC has Batman. But honestly, I could just as easily go I like them just both about the same, but Marvel has Captain America. I mean, they both have characters that I love, obviously, but right now I've been buying more DC stuff because I've just been more into the Mcfarlane stuff than whatever Hasbro's been putting out lately. I do have a huge collection of Marvel Legends, and I open Marvel Legends on here from time to time, but I don't collect them as hardcore as I used to. And I think it's more because not less because like a drop off in quality or a raise in price or anything like that. Although I they are being more expensive, and that is something that does kind of limit me as far as like buying stuff. But I think it's just like I kind of have all the Marvel characters I need at this point, and they don't put out as many that like I really need. Like they put out that Ultimate Spider-Man figure again, and I'm like, I already have a Spider-Man. I don't really need another Spider-Man, especially not at that price. Favorite DC character is Batman. Head over to IKSS. Favorite DC character, favorite Marvel character. Favorite DC character is Batman, and that's no contest because Batman's like my favorite character of like anything. Like Batman's just my favorite character that exists. Uh, Favorite Marvel character is Captain America, which you might have guessed already since I already mentioned Captain America. But I also really like the Hulk. I like Luke Cage. I like Wolverine. I like Spider-Man. I just opened up a Wolverine figure not long ago. So yeah, like that was the last Marvel Legends figure that I saw where I'm like, ooh, I gotta have this one, Wolverine. But but yeah, like and I didn't have a figure of Hugh Jackman in the comic book style outfit, so that definitely had some novelty to it. But and I probably would have bought that Deadpool figure if I had ever seen it, but all I saw was Wolverine. Uh, but but yeah, like the Mcfarlane figures have been kicking ass, and whenever Mattel takes over the license, I'm hoping they're going to do some good figures, so I can keep on talking about DC stuff on this channel. But I mean, if they can do DC figures that are to the level of quality as the Masterverse figures, which I really enjoy, then it shouldn't be a problem. If they can do Masterverse style DC figures, and they did it like one of the greatest DC lines of all time with DC Universe Classics. So they could go back and revisit that, and I'd probably start collecting those again. But at this point, I'm kind of more about 7-inch figures, and you can see how well they scale together. And I think Mattel is, like I said, with the Masterverse figures, they're kind of skewing more towards 7-inch also. So I'm kind of speculating if they're gonna do that with DC. Uh, uh, Head over Diecast says I'm more of a villain kind of person, and as far as that goes, my favorite Marvel villain is definitely Doctor Doom. There's no question. I love Doctor Doom. I think he's a great character. And there's lots of great Marvel villains. You got the Red Skull, you got Loki, you got Magneto, you got like the Green Goblin, Doctor Octopus. Hell, Spider-Man as like one of the greatest villains rogues gallery of any comic superhero. I think if he doesn't have the best, it's because he's a close second to Batman, and then the Flash would be a close third. And then Head over Diecast says definitely Hulk, Marvel and Joker for DC. Those are both good choices. Those are both good choices. Like I said, I've always loved the Hulk. I grew up with the later part of the '70s and the early part of the '80s when the Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno Hulk TV series was still huge, and I remember watching that a lot of the time, and I loved that show, and so the Hulk's always been one of my favorite characters because of that, and then of course the Joker is like just one of the greatest comic book villains that exists. He might be the greatest comic book villain, with the possible exception of Doctor Doom. So, but yeah, DC's got a lot of great villains too. They got the Joker, they got Two Face, they got Darkseid, they got Lex Luthor. They got Brainiac, Captain Cold, Reverse Flash, Sinestro. One of my favorite characters. Sinestro is my favorite Green Lantern character. Black Manta, any of the Legion of Doom. Like all the Legion of Doom, there's not a loser in the bunch there. They're all great villains. Even the Toy Man, it's still kind of weird and creepy. But anyway, I think that's about it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, because I know I already said that, but I'm going to say it again. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. That's pretty much it for this episode. We're going to talk to you next time. Bye. Okay.